Thank you for tuning in today. In today's real estate tips video, we're taking a look at the 10 best real estate tips for the fall. Whether you're buying a home or selling a home, you'll want to know each of these 10 tips. My name is Andrew Finney. Please feel free to consider me your real estate geek. I'm always here to help, and my contact information is always in the show more description below. So what we're seeing in the real estate market right now are low mortgage interest rates with a high demand. This still continues to drive our real estate market, especially for those starter homes and mid-range homes. We're still seeing the prices of those homes increase to near pre-recession levels. So it's important to have a strong game plan and know what you're getting into before you move forward. At the same time, at the higher price ranges across the United States, we're seeing more stabilization and actually a few price adjustments as the market balances out in those price points. So here are the 10 best real estate tips for the fall, leading in with first-time home buyers. Get your starter home now. These low-end mortgage interest rates aren't going to last forever. And in fact, most of the people that have bought a home so far in 2017, 52%, according to the National Association of Realtors, are first-time home buyers, going towards the millennials. The millennials are the biggest population buying. Millennials right now we're defining as between 19 years old to 34 years old. 52% of the market. So that means there's going to be a lot of competition, especially with low inventory, and you need to be prepared as these home prices continue to increase. The second tip is for sellers. Sellers, please hire the right agent. If you don't hire the right agent, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. You want to really dig into, and one of the best investments you could ever make is paying attention to the agent that you're hiring. Go ahead and read those reviews, check those ratings of those agents, check their social media profiles, Google that agent and see what kind of online presence they have. If they have a good online presence, then that means they're probably pretty tech savvy and they're ready to market your home in today's world. In today's world, it really takes a digital marketing. It takes a lot of the old school marketing with phone calls and stuff too. But you want an agent that's going to be aggressively representing you, and you can save yourself a huge amount of money by hiring the right agent. Let me give you a for instance. In 2014, I was representing a buyer of about a $500,000 home, and I had called the listing agent up, and the simple question that I wanted to ask him is, do you have any offers on this property? Is the seller flexible? Whenever I asked him if he had any offers on the property, he said no. When I asked him if the seller is flexible, he said, well, the sellers would take about $30,000 less. Right out of the gate on a $500,000 home, that listing agent gave up $30,000 of value that is really the seller's money. That's horrific, and it should not happen. So if that's what you want, then don't do your due diligence. But if you want the agent that's going to represent you, you want to look for you want to check those agents' ratings, reviews, and check their past performance. An agent that's closing at least 12 homes a year or more is what you're going to want. You're also going to want to keep an eye out for any type of designations that show extra experience for that agent. A couple of key designations you want to look for is the SRS, which means Seller's Representative Specialist, and what you really want, if you can find one, is a Certified Residential Specialist, denoted as a CRS. When you want the absolute best, whether you're buying or selling, you want a CRS. So tip 3 are for buyers again. So there's more loan money out there, and there's a lot of loan programs available for first-time home buyers and second-time home buyers. There are really attractive interest rates in the market, and you can actually get into a home with 3.5% down, no money down, depending on the loan program, and 1% down loan options. The FICO score requirements have been drastically reduced from what we saw whenever we had the economic collapse. Nowadays, right now, you're looking at being able to get approved with a 580 or above credit score. Go ahead and check with your local loan officer and see if one of those loan options is going to make sense to you and what their requirements are for the FICO score as well. There's a lot of loan programs out there. Keep that in mind. They'll be able to help you out. One thing to note though, if you're not putting down a full 20% down payment, is that you're going to be carrying a private mortgage insurance every single month on your new home loan as well. So you want to discuss that with your local loan officer and see how that impacts your monthly amount for your mortgage. The next thing that you want to keep a very cautious eye out for, because unfortunately we're seeing the seductive low interest rate loans out there again, and please avoid them. Even though they seem affordable at first, 10 years later, boom, they go up. It's nuts, and it's going to really cost you. Just think the recession of 2008, more like the Great Depression, right? The Great Depression of 2008. So tip 4 is sellers. Sellers, it may be a seller's market, but you're still going to want to be realistic, and you're going to want to do some simple things to enhance your home's appearance and your curb appeal. Let's talk about renewing selectively. You might want to do some renewing of the home with like fixtures, a nice new coat of paint, doing some light makeovers everywhere to make sure that your home looks good everywhere, focusing in especially on the kitchen and the bathrooms. They're far more cost effective if you're doing light touches and some renewing of the fixtures. It's going to be a lot less than doing a massive overhaul to a full-on kitchen remodel. The next thing you want to do, sellers, is to clean, and again, clean your home. Whenever you walk into a dirty home, if somebody walks into a dirty home, they're not going to have a very easy time picturing their family live there. Make it as appealing as possible. Make sure your home smells good, make sure that it looks good, and make sure that you're cleaning everything and keeping it clean the whole time that you're on the market. The next thing you want to do is depersonalize and declutter. Take your family photos off the walls. Take everything down other than artwork. And you want to declutter as much as possible. Now, you can use some of your nice trinkets, if you will, around the house. Keep them in the groupings of like 3 and 5 and odd numbers. They tend to work best if you're doing some little light home staging in that way. But you want to overall depersonalize the house, declutter the house, keep that house clean, and put new fixtures in and make it look good. The next thing you want to do is to illuminate your home. Illuminate your home for each and every showing. Make sure all your lights are on. Make sure that your fan lights are on if you have them. Make sure the windows are open. Make sure that the blinds are pulled back. Make sure that the drapes are pulled back. Make sure that everything, as much natural light as you can get into your home, get it in there. It'll make it look a lot better. So tip number 5 is actually for renters. It might be the time for you to buy, because we have a lot of renters out in the market right now. In fact, about 37% of the buying population are coming from the renting category. That's because rents are actually outpacing the home appreciation. As much as we've seen homes appreciate, rents are going higher, and this makes sense. Because think about it, as homes get more and more expensive, what do landlords know? They know that people have to have a place to live, and if they can't qualify, if the person renting that home cannot qualify for a home loan, they can increase their rent year after year after year until such a time there's a balance in the market. So be careful about that, because you can get yourself into a position where you're at a zero-sum game where you're renting right now and home affordability just goes completely haywire in the next few years, and you'll be stuck renting as opposed to being able to buy your home. Now is the time. Go ahead and talk to a local loan officer and get started on that. If you don't know where to find a local loan officer, look on Zillow or Realtor.com or some of those other sites and find a great real estate agent following the advice that I gave earlier. So tip number 6 is, if you're a buyer, do not believe the house is yours until it's signed, sealed, and delivered and the keys are in your hand. That's because even if a listing agent or a seller said, oh, you know what, we really like you, we want to go ahead and sell you the home, don't believe it until you have a signed contract and you open up escrow and you're going through your buyer due diligence phase at that time. And it's really important to note that whenever you're out there looking for a home, whether you're getting started online or not, you want your own buyer's agent. A buyer's agent is going to be able to protect your best interest because they're only working for you. If you have the listing agent on this side and you have the buyer's agent on this side, and you're working with the listing agent's primary primary client is the seller, and they have what's called fiduciary duties to uphold to that seller, and they're going to be representing that seller's best interest. You come into the mix, it's called dual agency, and in that case it may not even be allowed in some states that across the United States don't allow it, and it may or may not be allowed in your state. But think about it, how are they going to represent a seller's best interest and represent your best interest at the same time? Conflict of interest, right? So what you want is a buyer's representative, and you want to follow the same advice that I gave the sellers in tip number 2 about finding the right agent. You want to check those agents' reviews, you want to read their reviews, you want to check their ratings, you want to check their experience, and make sure they're closing at least 12 or more homes per year. That's key, because then they're always in the mix and they know how to best help you. They're staying up on all the laws and all the processes that you need to know to make your home buying journey successful. A key designation that you can look for from a buyer's agent is an accredited buyer's representative. It's denoted as ABR. You get yourself one of those, you're going to be in great hands. And if that ABR actually has a CRS, which is that certified residential specialist, you're definitely working with the best, and you're going to be in the best of hands, and you're going to enjoy your home buying experience. So tip number 7 is, sellers, you know the grass is always greener on the other side where you see that for sale sign. So if you see a sold sign on your neighbor's home, that grass is going to be greener than your grass until you get a sold sign on your home. So what's that mean? You need to increase that curb appeal of your home. If you need to go ahead and cleanse out everything that you got going on in that yard, I mean, if you got too many potted plants, if you got the wrong kind of plants, get that changed out. Check with your local landscaper if you don't already have one. Check with them and see what kind of plants are native to your location and put those kind of plants into your yard and make it look clean. Trim back those trees, trim back those shrubs, make that curb appeal pop. If you need to touch up the fascia on your home, if you need to touch up the paint on your garage, whatever you need to do, make it pop. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. Homes with strong curb appeal will get more showings, and because they get more showings, you're more likely, if your home is priced right, to get multiple offers on your home, which could help drive up the price of your home. But you got to price it right. You got to do your part, depersonalize, declutter your home, and get that curb appeal looking really, really darn good. So tip number 8 is for sellers and buyers. Guess what? You need to know the state of your current market. You need to know the market conditions of where you're at, whether you're in a seller's market or whether you're in a buyer's market or if you're in a balanced market. Just for reference, a balanced market is generally whenever you see anywhere between 5.5 months to 7 months of home inventory available. What does that mean? That means that if there was 7 months of home inventory available, that means if no more homes came on the market, it would take 7 months to sell all of those homes. I don't know about your marketplace, but here in Las Vegas right now, all of Las Vegas combined, we're looking at about 2.1 months of inventory, and that's it. So 2.1 months of inventory is obviously a very strong seller's market. Anything over that 7-month point is whenever it normally turns to a buyer's market, whenever there's more homes available than are buyers. Think about that, know these facts, and know which price segment. I see too often with agents and people not always having a good conversation about the difference of price point. A good for instance is in Las Vegas. If you're looking for a home under $300,000, it is a white hot market, just absolutely freaking crazy. Hang on to your britches and hang on to your seat, because it's going to be a fast ride, because those homes are flying off the market about as quickly as they come on the market. You start going above that and it starts balancing off. Depending on how high above that, then you're starting to see it be more of a balanced market, or you're going to have to, you see it being more of a buyer's market here in Las Vegas, at least when you start getting into the multi-million-dollar price point. So whenever you consider the price range of the home, you have a couple of things. You have the price point of the home, what kind of market you have in that price segment, and you also have the overall market conditions and the trends for your local market. The way that you're going to know what's going on with your real estate market is getting yourself a great real estate agent. Follow the advice that I've shared now several times throughout this video to find one that's going to be able to best assist you and educate you and help you either buy a home or sell a home. Know those conditions. It's extremely, extremely important. So tip number 9 goes back to the sellers. If you're going to put your house up on the spring, then you want to start any repairs that you need to do now, anything that you need to do with decluttering, depersonalizing, you want to start it now. And it's never too early to start talking to a local loan officer about your financing options, so that when you do sell your home, then you're prepared to go find your new home as quickly as possible. The next thing that is not too early to do is to go ahead and find yourself a great listing agent to work with. They can help you with home staging tips. They can help you identify what you're looking for in your new home and give you some pointers and help you prepare. If you start that process now, you're going to find it easy peasy, simple and easy. So I mean, just start the process now if you're planning on the spring. But be prepared for something, sellers. If you're planning on going on the spring in the market, you and millions of other people are thinking, oh, spring is the best time for me to sell. What does that mean? That means more home inventory is available and the buyers have more options. So you as a home seller are going to have more competition. If you decide that you want to go ahead and make a move and you don't want to be in a super competitive market, you might want to consider putting your home on the market in the fall or the winter, whenever you typically see a lot of buyers still out in the market needing their home before the holidays, but less people putting their home on the market, which decreases inventory and increases your chances of success of selling your home. Tip number 10 is buyers, if you're planning on relocating next to water or anywhere like waterfront property or in a flood zone or something like that, be realistic and be smart. With these major hurricanes that we've been seeing and floods that we're seeing, you're seeing an increase in your flood insurance. Now, some people may or may not know, because FEMA is actually going out and expanding flood zones across the United States pretty quickly right now, and you're going to need to check with your respective agent whether you're listing your home or buying your home. In this case, we're talking about buying a home, so it goes back to the importance of having a great buyer's agent that's representing and upholding your best interests, and asking them, is that property that you want in a flood zone, and what are the ramifications of possibly buying that home? Another thing that you can check if you want to check on your own is simply to go to FEMA.gov, FEMA.gov. You know, this has been a really great time today sharing with you the 10 best real estate tips for the fall. I'm so happy that you joined us today. If you have any questions, I'm going to make my contact information available right now. If you want to ask me something about this video, you want to suggest a new video, or hey, if you just want to say hi, I'm happy to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching today. Look forward to chatting with you again soon. Enjoy an amazing day.